season, let us take a moment to reflect on the success of the previous edition, which came to a memorable conclusion just over 5 weeks ago.
Feel it, let it in, no style, breathe it in. Stand out, be proud, we shout, 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 we shout. I'ma keep running like I stole something, moving so fast they won't see me coming. Moving so fast they won't see me coming.
What a remarkable campaign that was, with the crowning of a new champion for the second time in as many seasons. And we look forward to more thrilling action when the 2026-27 tournament kicks off. With that, it is time to focus on the journey ahead. To guide us through today's proceedings, please turn your attention to the screen for the draw mechanism video.
AFC Women's Champions League 2026-27 Preliminary Stage Draw Mechanism. Entries. Following the confirmation of entries and slot allocation, a total of 24 clubs will participate in the AFC Women's Champions League 2026-27 Preliminary Stage, representing their respective member associations. Competition format. The preliminary stage will consist of one round. The 24 participating clubs will be divided into 6 groups, with each group to be played in a centralized league format. Depending on the number of teams in each group, the following match sequence shall apply. The numbers designate the position drawn in each group. All matches shall be played in accordance with the AFC competitions calendar, and the match schedule will be determined by the AFC after the draw. Draw principles. Seeding and pot allocation. Participating clubs are seeded into 4 pots based on the ranking of their member association in the AFC Women's Club competition rankings utilized for the slot allocation. Host pot. At the beginning of the draw, the host clubs will be separately allocated to an additional hosts pot to ensure they are drawn into different groups. The host clubs shall be drawn into each group in accordance with their seeding as per the seeding and pot allocation principles. Draw procedures. The 24 participating clubs are divided into 4 pots as per the seeding and pot allocation principle, with 1 additional hosts pot to be utilized for the draw. At the beginning of the draw, the host clubs will be placed into the hosts pot to ensure they are drawn into different groups. The host clubs will be identified by different colored balls from the other balls within each pot. The draw will be conducted in accordance with the following sequence. The draw will commence with the hosts pot, followed by the order of pot 4, pot 3, pot 2, and pot 1, to ensure that the highest seeded teams are drawn last. Each pot will be completely emptied before moving on to the next pot. Participating clubs from the hosts pot will be drawn into the respective positions of each group in alphabetical order and in accordance with their seeding. For example, if a participating club initially seeded into pot 2 is drawn, it will be placed into position 2 of the respective group. Subsequently, participating clubs from pot 4 will be drawn into position 4 of the first possible group in alphabetical order. The same procedures shall apply for the remaining participating clubs in pot 3, pot 2, and pot 1. This shall conclude the draw for the AFC Women's Champions League 2026-27 preliminary stage.
So there you have it, a straightforward draw mechanism for the 24 clubs that are involved today. And now, it is my pleasure to welcome on stage our draw conductor for the afternoon. A round of applause, please, for Ms. Nancy Yin, Manager at the Competition Management Department of the AFC's Competition and Football Events Division. Welcome, Nancy. The stage is yours.
A very good afternoon. I would like to first of all thank you all for attendance, to be here with us for the draw, the AFC colleagues and also our club representative, as we set the stage for the upcoming season of AFC Women's Champions League 2026 and 27. When the AFC launched this competition in 2024, it signaled the start of a brand new era of women's club football in Asia, as our determination to elevate the continent's standard even further. It is encouraging to know that the participation has continued to grow with every edition, with more member associations and clubs undertaking steps to raise their levels. So we have a total of 24 different clubs for this preliminary stage draw. Also, counting in the 6 clubs who have direct slots in the group stage, we have in total of 30 clubs for this season, which is the highest number ever. What's more exciting is, among these 30 clubs, 4 member associations have entered a women's club into an AFC competition for the first time ever. Together, 13 clubs are making their debut in an AFC competition. There's indeed so much to look forward to and get excited about, especially for the clubs that are involved. So without further ado, let's start with the draw. As explained in the draw mechanism, firstly, we will pick all the host draw balls from different pots into the host pot to ensure that every group has a host. So the host draw ball was colored in yellow. So we will firstly take all the hosts out. And put in the host pot. So we will start from identify the host for Group A. Sabah FA. Sabah FA from Malaysia, this is their second time to participate in the preliminary stage after the first station of AWCL, and they're aiming to qualify for their second finals since they joined in the first season back in 2024 and 25. Sabah FA will be positioned in A2 and as the host of Group A. Moving on next to the host for Group B. We have FC Earbeers. The club is making their continental debut and they won their first domestic league champions in 2025. The FC Earbeers will be positioned in B4. And moving on to Group C. PFC Nasaf. This is their third time to participate in the preliminary stage in a row, and they made history in the last season, qualified all the way from preliminary stage and reached to the final quarterfinal. The PFC Nasaf will be positioned in C2 as the host of Group C. Moving on next for Group D. College of Asian Scholars. The Thailand Cup is an old friend of AWCL competition, and this is their second participation in preliminary stage after last season, and their best performance was in the first edition in the group stage. College of Asian Scholars will be positioned in D1, and we have 2 clubs remaining. The host for Group E will be FC CSKA Dushanbe. This is another team making their continental debut. and FC CSKA Dushanbe will be positioned in E4. And the last club in the host pot, Yaoundé FC Women. Another new club making their continental debut, and they win their first ever title in their domestic league in 2025-26. Yaoundé Women will be positioned in F2. So now we have concluded the host pot. We're moving on to pot 4, and we will follow the sequence of pot 4, 3, 2, 1 to ensure that top-seeded clubs will be joined the last. So let's start from pot 4 for the club to be positioned in A4. Rajshahi Star FC, the first Bangladesh women's club to be ever played in AFC competition, and the Rajshahi Star FC will be positioned in A4. And moving on next, for the club to be positioned in C4, joining with Nasaf in Uzbekistan, Royal Timbu College. This is the third time for the Bhutanese team to be participate in the preliminary stage, and they are making their efforts to reach to the final, to the group stage for the first time. And the Royal Timbu College FC will be positioned in C4. And moving on next. Samusa FC. Another team making continental debut, and Samusa FC from Timor-Leste will be positioned in D4. And the last club in pot 4, No Limits FC. No Limits FC marks the first Lebanese women's club to ever play in AFC, and it will be positioned in F4. So now we move on to the pot 3, and let's see the club to join the Group A. Rovers FC. Another team making continental debut, and this is the second Guam women's club to ever play in AFC competition. Rovers FC will be positioned in A3, coming to Malaysia, joining with Sabah FC and also the Rajshahi Stars FC from Bangladesh. Moving on next. Phnom Penh Crown FC. Phnom Penh Crown FC from Cambodia will be positioned in B3, and this is their second participation in the preliminary stage, and they're aiming to reach their first group stage this time. Moving on next. Master FC. Master FC from Laos, also second participation in the group's preliminary stage, haven't made their way to the group stage yet and making their best this time. Master FC will be positioned in C3. And we have 3 clubs remaining in the pot. Haratai FC. This club making their continental debut, and it will be positioned in D3. And we have 2 clubs for the next one to be positioned in Group E. We'll have Anasa, a dominant women's club in Saudi Arabia, and this is the 3rd time participation in the preliminary stage, haven't made their way in the group stage and aiming to reach their first group stage this time. And Anasa will be positioned in E3. And the last club from pot 3, FC Jurong. FC Jurong from Singapore also making their continental debut in AFC competition, and also they won their first ever title in 2025 league champion. So we have concluded the pot 3. Now moving to pot 2, we will see the club to be joined with FC Idris in Kyrgyz Republic in the Group B. We have TSL FC from Hong Kong, China. Also making continental debut for this club, and they also win their first title in their domestic league in 2025-26. TSL FC will be positioned in B2. And moving on next. Five FC from the DPR Korea. As the 2025-26 AWCL, we have the champion Nagohan. So there's a high chance that we have two DPR Korean clubs in the group stage, as the champions of last season have a direct slot in the group stage this time. 425 SC from DPR Korea will be positioned in D2. And the last club in pot 2, we have Etihad Club from Jordan. This is their third time to participate in the preliminary stage, and also aiming to reach the group stage for the first time in this season. Etihad Club will be positioned in E2. So we have concluded pot 2, and we're moving on to the pot 1 with our top-seeded clubs in the preliminary stage. So to start with, the club to be positioned in A1. East Bengal FC. So this is the club's first time to be in the preliminary stage, and their best finish was group stage in the last season. East Bengal FC will be positioned in A1. And moving on next. Kaya FC Iloilo. Kaya FC Iloilo from Philippines, and their best group finish was in group stage in the first edition of AWCL, and will be positioned in B1. Moving on next. Bennett FC. Another club making their continental debut, and they won their first ever title in 2025-26, their domestic league, and they won the title on final day via a goal difference. Bennett FC will be positioned in C1. And the next group, Bangkatun FC. So this is the third times for this club to participate in AWCL. Also, this marks the 5th appearance for the club in AFC competitions, most of any women's club in Asia. Bangkatun FC will be positioned in E1. And the last club in the pot 1 to be positioned in F1 will be New Taipei City Hangyuan FC. This club making their continental debut, and it will be positioned in F1. So now we have concluded the draw for the preliminary stage. It will be a competitive competition, as only the winner of each group will be qualified to the group stage. I wish all the best to the participating club, and back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Nancy. A perfectly conducted draw to set up the 6 groups for the preliminary stage of the AFC's Women's Champions League 2026-27. Now please allow me to briefly recap the draw results. In Group A, we have East Bengal from India, host Sabah FA of Malaysia, Rovers FC from Guam, and Rajashi Stars from Bangladesh. In Group B, Kaya FC Iloilo from Philippines, TSL FC from Hong Kong, China, Phnom Penh Crown FC of Cambodia, and host FC Ilbirs of Kyrgyz Republic. In Group C, we have Banat FC from United Arab Emirates, PFC Nasaf, Uzbekistan, who will be the host, Master FC of Laos, and Royal Thimphu College from Bhutan. In Group D, host College of Asian Scholars from Thailand, 425 SC from DPR Korea, Harate FC of Mongolia, and S. Samuser FC from Timor-Leste. In Group E, we have Bam Khatoon from Iran, Etihad Club of Jordan, Al Nassr of Saudi Arabia, and host FC CSKA Dushanbe of Tajikistan. And finally, in Group F, we have New Taipei City Hangyuan, hosts Yaudi FC Women's of Myanmar, FC Jurong from Singapore, and No Limits FC from Lebanon. So there you have it. The draw has certainly delivered some highly anticipated battles, and with only the group winners advancing to the finals, the preliminary stage promises to be fiercely competitive. Remember to stay up to date with all the latest results and news ahead of the opening matches via the AFC's digital channels and the AFC Live app. Finally, thank you once again for being with us this afternoon. For now, it's goodbye and see you soon.